The sun was creeping over the skyline of Nairobi Central Hospital. The kind of hospital that didn't smell like medicine, but money. White marble floors, gold-coated railings, silent elevators, and guards who looked like they were trained by the military. Everywhere you turned, you saw power, wealth, and secrets. But the biggest secret of all was locked behind a VIP glass door at the end of the hallway. Inside that quiet room, on a bed softer than most people's dreams, lay a girl who had been silent longer than some people have lived their whole lives. Her name was Aisha Belle Mutai, 29 years old, skin dark and smooth like cocoa butter. A beauty that made nurses pause, even after 5 years of seeing her like this. But Aisha wasn't asleep. She wasn't resting. Aisha was in a coma. 5 years. 5 years with no voice, no movement, frozen in time while the world moved on without her. But something made her different from every other coma patient in the hospital. Aisha was heavily pregnant. Her belly rose under the hospital sheets like a full moon, round, firm, unmistakably close to her due date. Yet everyone knew one thing for sure. Aisha had never woken up. Not once. Not even for a second in the last 5 years. So the question nobody dared to ask was, how did a girl who hasn't opened her eyes in half a decade get pregnant? The doctors didn't have answers. The nurses whispered behind closed doors. And Aisha's father, he refused to let the thought even breathe, because Aisha wasn't just a patient. She was the only daughter of Benson Kiprop Mutai, one of the richest men in Africa. A man whose businesses stretched across countries, a man whose voice could shake stock markets. A man who lived in a mansion so large it had its own private runway. A man who loved his daughter like a second heartbeat. A man who hated poor people more than anything else on earth. Not because he was born proud, but because life taught him to fear them. Years ago, after his wife died giving birth to Aisha, Benson remarried, hoping to give his little girl a mother. But the woman he brought home wasn't a wife. She was a trap, a gold digger, a pretender, a disaster wrapped in beauty. When the truth came out, Benson lost more than money. He lost trust. From that day, he believed poor people were dangerous, manipulators, opportunists, and threats. So he built a cage of luxury around Aisha, a beautiful cage, but still a cage. Private tutors, private jets, 5-star vacations, bodyguards, rules, walls. She wasn't allowed anywhere near people he called ordinary. She wasn't allowed to breathe the same air as broke people. When she turned 18, he sent her to Europe, far away from any influence he couldn't control. But now, after all the protection, all the security, all the walls, Aisha lay helpless in a hospital bed, silent, still, carrying a child nobody could explain. The machines beside her beeped softly. The curtains swayed gently. The room felt peaceful, too peaceful for a story this dark. Then it happened. Aisha's fingers twitched. Just a tiny movement, but enough to stop a nurse in her tracks. Nurse Lydia Wanjiku stepped closer, eyes wide, breath held. "Aisha, can you hear me?" Her voice was barely a whisper. No answer, no movement. Lydia exhaled, trying to steady herself, then froze again. Aisha's belly shifted. Not the light flutter of a baby stretching, not the gentle kicks they had seen before. This movement was stronger, sharper, almost like the baby was fighting its way out. Lydia's heartbeat raced. She stepped back, gripping the rail of the bed, as she whispered, "God, what is happening to this girl?" Nobody knew. Not the doctors, not the father, not the world outside. Because the real truth, was darker than anyone was ready for. And the person who put Aisha in that coma? The reason she was pregnant. The reason her life stopped 5 years ago. The real beginning. Before the coma, before the baby, before the betrayal, Aisha Belle Mutai came into this world with both blessings and pain wrapped around her tiny body. She was born into one of the richest families in Africa, the Mutai family. A name people whispered with respect. Money older than modern Kenya. Companies across countries, power everywhere. But Aisha never saw her mother, not even once. Her mother died while giving birth to her. So for Aisha, love began with loss. From the moment her father, Benson Kiprop Mutai, held her in his arms, something inside him changed forever. She became his whole world, his only child, his last connection to the woman he once loved. So he raised her like a fragile treasure that must never break. He gave her everything a child could want and everything a child could never ask for. Private tutors, luxury vacations, designer clothes, personal chefs, security guards, the best of everything. But what Aisha really had was a father who worshipped her. Every birthday was a royal event. Every tear she shed was a crisis. Every smile she gave was a celebration. But Benson's love came with a wall, a tall, thick, unbreakable wall around Aisha's life. He feared losing her the way he lost her mother. He feared letting the wrong people near her. And after a gold digger nearly destroyed their home years later, his fear grew into hatred. He hated poor people. He didn't trust anyone without wealth. He believed poverty made people dangerous. So he made sure Aisha grew up far from broke people, as he called them. But life doesn't always respect walls. When Aisha turned 18, Benson sent her to study in London, at a top university. He thought he was protecting her from the world. He had no idea that the world was already waiting for her. On her second week in London, Aisha met a boy who didn't fit into her father's perfect plan. His name was Jamil Otieno. Tall, handsome, soft-spoken, bright eyes, sharp mind, and poor, very poor. He was in London on a scholarship, a rare opportunity for a boy who grew up in Kibera. Aisha saw intelligence. Aisha saw charm. Aisha saw kindness. She didn't know she was falling in love. Not yet. But Jamil's girlfriend back home knew. Her name was Natasha Nyaruai. Beautiful, bold, street-smart, and loyal only to money. Natasha knew Aisha was rich the moment she saw Jamil's messages. She knew Aisha liked him. She knew her man was being admired by a billionaire's daughter. And Natasha didn't panic. She smiled. She told Jamil, "Babe, play along. Get what you can. Don't be stupid. This girl is your ticket. Don't fall for her. Just take the money." Jamil agreed, because life was tough, money was tight, and Aisha seemed like an opportunity. Aisha loved him with her whole heart. She loved his humility, his jokes, his dreams. She didn't care that he came from nothing. And because she loved him, she started pressuring him gently. "Let's get married, Jamil. I want you. I choose you." Jamil knew Natasha wouldn't like it, but Natasha wasn't trying to stop him. In fact, she encouraged him. "Marry her," she said coldly. "Once you're in, we take everything. Mutai Holdings, the shares, the money, everything." Natasha already saw herself living rich. She already pictured Aisha out of the way, so Jamil married Aisha. When Aisha told her father she wanted to marry Jamil, Benson almost had a heart attack. Marry a poor boy? A boy who came from the streets? A boy without a name or a coin? Never. But Aisha cried. Aisha begged. Aisha said she would rather run away than give him up. So Benson agreed, but his heart was uneasy. He knew something was wrong. He felt it in his bones, but he chose his daughter's happiness over his own instincts. The wedding was beautiful, small, elegant. A father trying to smile for the sake of the one he loved most. But he didn't trust Jamil, not even a little. For 3 years, Aisha and Jamil lived like a normal couple, except there was nothing normal about it. Aisha wanted a child. She prayed for one. She dreamed about one, but she couldn't get pregnant. Why? Because Jamil was secretly taking pills. Pills designed to make sure he never impregnated her. Natasha made sure of that. A baby meant complications. A baby meant Aisha would cling to Jamil forever. Natasha didn't want that. Meanwhile, behind Aisha's back, Jamil bought Natasha a house in London. A big one, fully furnished, paid in cash. Natasha lived comfortably while Aisha believed her husband was saving for their future. And the worst part? Natasha already had a baby for Jamil. A healthy, bouncing baby born in secret. While Aisha cried into her pillow every night, wondering why she couldn't conceive. The betrayal cut deep, but Aisha didn't know any of it. Not yet. The truth was waiting sharp, cold, and deadly around the corner. And when the truth will finally hits her life, everything will break. While Aisha spent every night crying over her inability to conceive, while she blamed herself, while she prayed for a miracle, Jamil was living a different life entirely. A life full of lies. A life full of pleasure. A life with Natasha, the woman he was supposed to have left behind. He wasn't suffering. He wasn't stressed. He wasn't worried. He was enjoying himself. Jamil had mastered the art of deception. In the morning, he was the loving husband. In the afternoon, the hard-working man. In the night, he became Natasha's man again. He even went as far as helping Natasha get a job in Aisha's father's company in London, Mutai Global UK branch. He told Aisha, "She's my cousin. She's struggling. Please just help her get a job." And because Aisha had a soft heart, she believed him. She didn't argue. She didn't question. She processed the application herself. She even helped Natasha settle down in her new office. Aisha never imagined that the woman she was helping was the same woman who had a baby for her husband. So while Aisha worked late hours managing international branches, Jamil and Natasha used every free moment to continue their secret affair. Hotels, cars, Airbnbs, Aisha's house. Nothing was off limits for them, until the day everything came crashing down. It happened on a quiet Tuesday evening. Aisha came home earlier than usual. Her body felt weak. Her heart felt tired. She wanted to surprise her husband with dinner. She wanted to tell him she booked an appointment with another fertility doctor. She wanted to show him she was trying, but as she pushed open the bedroom door, her soul froze, her legs shook, her breath left her chest. There, right on their matrimonial bed, Jamil was on top of Natasha, kissing her, touching her, loving her, the same way he used to love Aisha. The sound Aisha made didn't even feel human. It came from the deepest part of her pain. Jamil jumped up. Natasha grabbed the bed sheets. But the damage was done. Aisha was shattered. Her trust, her marriage, her dreams, everything broke in 1 second. She didn't shout. She didn't fight. She just turned around and walked out, tears running down her face like rain. She packed a few clothes, her passport, her documents, and left her own house. She sat in her car and cried until her head hurt. But she didn't call her father, Because he warned her. He begged her not to marry Jamal. He saw what she didn't see. She couldn't face the "I told you." She told herself, "I will handle this alone." And she did. Aisha hired a private investigator, a quiet, sharp man named Mr. Kamau.
I need to find out the truth, no matter what it takes.
He didn't waste time. In a few weeks, he dug up secrets that nearly broke Aisha again. Jamil had stolen millions from Aisha's accounts. He had used her signature to buy Natasha a house in London. He had been lying about business trips. They were vacations with Natasha. He had a child with Natasha, a child already 2 years old. And the final blow, Jamil had been taking fertility-blocking drugs to make sure Aisha never conceived. He never wanted her pregnant. He wanted her money. The evidence was clear. Bank statements, pictures, videos, messages, contracts Jamil forged. Even recordings of Jamil and Natasha laughing about how stupid Aisha is. Aisha felt her heart go numb. She filed for divorce immediately. She wanted out. She wanted peace. She wanted freedom, but Natasha had other plans. Natasha panicked. If the divorce went through, Jamil would get nothing. No shares, no money, no access to Aisha. And if Jamil got nothing, Natasha got nothing too, so she pushed Jamil into something darker. "We have to stop her," she whispered. "If she leaves you, we are finished." Jamil was scared, but Natasha was desperate. She came up with the plan, a simple plan, a deadly plan. They paid a driver, a man called Derek, who had nothing to lose and everything to gain, to stage an accident. The instruction was simple. When you see her car, hit her hard, make it look like a road accident. Jamil hesitated, but Natasha reminded him of everything he'd lose. And he agreed. It happened at night. Aisha had just finished meeting her private investigator. She confirmed that the divorce papers would be served the next morning. She felt relieved for the first time in months. She entered her car, switched on the engine, and drove out into the quiet road. She didn't know Derek was waiting at the corner. Engine running, headlights off, eyes on her car. As Aisha drove down the road, the wind blowing softly, Derek followed slowly from behind. When the road became empty, when no other car was in sight, he pressed the accelerator hard. His car shot forward like a bullet. Aisha heard the roar behind her and looked into her mirror. Too late. Derek's car rammed into the back of hers, full force. Her car spun violently. The tires screeched, the windshield cracked. Her head slammed into the steering wheel. Her car hit a pole and flipped, once, twice, 3 times, before landing upside down. Smoke filled the air. Glass shattered everywhere. Her phone was thrown out the window. Derek waited from a distance until he saw her body go still. Then he drove off slowly, disappearing into the night as if nothing happened. Aisha survived the crash, but she never woke up. Not that night, not the next day, not the next month. She slipped into a deep coma, a coma that lasted 5 years. And if she had been in coma for the last 5 years, how did she get pregnant? If you thought this was intense, you haven't seen anything yet. This was just the backstory. Part 2 is coming with the major drama, and we're going to hunt down the person who got Aisha pregnant. Part 2, the real drama begins. We are going to dig deep, and maybe, just maybe, we will finally uncover the truth about the person who got Aisha pregnant and exactly how it happened. You do not want to miss this revelation. The part 2 will be dropping this Friday, so please hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell right now so YouTube alerts you the second part 2 drops. But before you go, I need your opinion in the comments. Is it even medically possible to get pregnant while in a coma? Does a woman in a coma still see her period or ovulate? Let me know what you think down below.